Welcome back to the IELTS Vocabulary Podcast. Today, we're diving into a super important topic, travel and commuting. These are words you'll hear and need to use frequently, especially in your IELTS speaking and listening tests.
That's right. We've got a fantastic group of words for you, all related to getting from one place to another, from your daily journey to big trips. We'll cover the essential vocabulary. Let's get started.
Our first word is traffic. This word usually refers to the vehicles moving on roads, but it can also refer to people or even data. Let's look at some examples.
So, the morning traffic was very heavy. This means there were many cars on the road moving slowly. It's a common problem in big cities, isn't it?
Absolutely. And for our second example, there's a lot of foot traffic on this street. Here, traffic doesn't mean cars, it means many people are walking. It's often used when talking about busy shopping areas.
I see. In our last example, traffic laws must be obeyed for safety. This is about the rules for driving and walking on roads, like speed limits or stopping at red lights.
Exactly. So traffic can mean vehicles, people moving, or even rules about movement. Next up, we have transport. This word refers to the system or method for carrying people or goods from one place to another.
Okay, so public transport in the city is excellent. This means buses, trains, and subways are very good and easy to use.
Yes, exactly. It's about shared systems. Our next example is the company is responsible for the transport of goods. Here, transport refers to the movement of items, like products or materials.
So it's not just about people. And the third example, air transport is much faster than sea transport. This compares different methods of moving things, whether it's people or goods, using planes versus ships.
That's right. Transport covers all those different ways of moving. Our third word is commute. This is a specific type of travel, usually between your home and your workplace or school, done regularly.
Got it. So many people commute by train every day. This means they regularly travel to work or school using the train.
Precisely. And for the second sentence, my commute to work takes about an hour. Here, commute is used as a noun, referring to the trip itself and its duration.
That makes sense. And the last one, do you enjoy your daily commute? This is a common question asking if you like your regular journey to work or school.
It certainly is. So commute is all about that regular journey to and from work or school. Next, we have route. This word means the way or path that you take to get from one place to another.
Okay, so what's the best route to the airport? This is asking for the most efficient or fastest way to get there.
Exactly. For the next example, the bus follows a specific route. This means the bus drives along a fixed, predetermined path every time.
In the third example, we took a scenic route through the mountains. This means they chose a path that offered beautiful views, even if it might not have been the fastest.
That's a great example of route being about the specific path you choose or have to follow. Our next word is journey. This means traveling from one place to another, often over a long distance or a significant period.
So the journey from London to Paris was smooth. This means the trip was comfortable and had no problems.
Yes, it describes the entire trip. For our second example, life is a long journey. Here, journey is used metaphorically, meaning life is a long process of experiences and changes.
It's a lovely way to use the word. And the last one, have a safe journey. This is a common phrase to wish someone well before they travel.
It is. So, journey can be a physical trip or even a metaphor for life itself. Now we have schedule. This is a plan of events and times, or it can be a verb meaning to plan something for a certain time.
So the flight schedule was delayed. This means the plan for the flight's departure and arrival times was pushed back.
Exactly. And for the next example, I need to check my work schedule. This means checking the timetable of when you are supposed to work.
That's a common one. And the third example, let's schedule a meeting for next week. Here, schedule is used as a verb, meaning to arrange a specific time for the meeting.
Spot on. So schedule can be the plan itself or the act of making a plan. Our next word is departure. This refers to the act of leaving a place or the time at which something leaves.
Okay, so our departure was delayed due to bad weather. This means the time we left was later than planned because of the weather.
That's right. And for the second example, check the departure board for your gate. This is what you do at an airport or train station to find out where your plane or train is leaving from.
Makes sense. And the last example, he made a quick departure after the argument. This means he left very quickly and suddenly after the discussion.
Exactly. Departure can be about travel or simply about leaving a situation quickly. Following departure, we have its opposite, arrival. This means the act of reaching a place, or when something comes into existence.
So we waited for their arrival at the station. This means we were waiting for them to reach the station.
Precisely. For our second example, the new product's arrival is expected next month. Here, arrival means when the product will become available or be launched.
So it's not just people. In the third example, his sudden arrival surprised everyone. This describes someone showing up unexpectedly.
Yes, arrival can describe a person, a thing, or even an event coming to a place or beginning. Our next word is delay. This means a period of time when something is postponed or to make something happen later.
Okay, so there was a long delay at the airport. This means the flight or process at the airport took much longer than planned.
Yes, it was postponed. For a second example, don't delay, start your homework now. Here, delay is a verb, meaning don't put off or postpone starting your homework.
Got it. And the third example, the construction caused traffic delays. This means the building work made the traffic slow down or stop for a period.
That's right. Delay can be both a noun and a verb, meaning await or to make something wait. Next, we have platform. This often refers to a raised area, especially for getting on and off trains, but it has other meanings too.
Okay, so the train is on platform 3. This is very common at a train station. It tells you which track your train will arrive at or depart from.
Exactly. For our second example, speakers stood on a raised platform. This refers to a stage or an elevated area where people stand to give a speech or perform.
I see. And the third example, the company provides a platform for online learning. Here, platform means a system or service that allows people to do something, like learn online.
That's a great point. Platform can be a physical structure or a system that supports an activity. Our next word is highway. This is a major road, often with multiple lanes, built for fast travel between towns and cities.
So we drove down the highway. This means they were traveling on one of these main roads, probably at a higher speed.
Yes, typically a long distance. For our second example, the new highway will reduce travel time. This highlights the purpose of highways, to make journeys quicker.
That's good news for commuters. And the third example, be careful when merging onto the highway. Merging means smoothly moving your vehicle from a ramp or another road into the flow of highway traffic.
Exactly. Safety is key on the highway. Now, let's talk about vehicle. This is a general word for any machine used for transporting people or goods, usually on land.
Okay, so cars, buses, and trucks are all types of vehicles. This is a clear definition, grouping common transport machines together.
Precisely. For our second example, he uses a bicycle as his primary vehicle. This shows that even a bicycle can be considered a vehicle for personal transport.
Interesting. And the third one, heavy vehicles are not allowed on this road. This often refers to large trucks or construction machinery that might damage smaller roads.
That's a very practical use of the word. So vehicle is a broad term for anything that moves people or goods. Next up is travel. This word means to go from one place to another, or the act of doing so. It can be a verb or a noun.
So I love to travel to new countries. This means I enjoy visiting different nations and experiencing new places.
That's a common desire. For our second example, air travel can be expensive. Here, travel is used as a noun referring to the act of moving by plane.
True, flying can be costly. And the third example, sound travels faster in water. This uses travel in a scientific sense, describing how sound moves through a medium.
That's a great point, showing how versatile the word travel can be, beyond just human journeys. Our next word is passenger. This is a person who is traveling in a vehicle, train, bus, or plane, but is not the driver or part of the crew.
Okay, so there were many passengers on the flight. This means the plane was full of people who were flying to a destination.
Yes, people being transported. For our second example, please remain seated, passengers. This is a common announcement you hear on planes or buses, asking people to stay in their seats.
I've heard that many times. And the third example, the passenger complained about the delay. This shows a passenger who was unhappy about a wait or a postponement.
Exactly. So passenger is anyone being carried in a transport vehicle. Next up, we have freight. This refers to goods that are transported in bulk, usually by a commercial method like truck, train, ship, or aircraft.
Okay, so the ship carries both passengers and freight. This means the ship transports people and also large amounts of goods.
That's a good example. For our second sentence, this company specializes in air freight. This means the company focuses on transporting goods using airplanes.
Makes sense. And the third example, we need to send this by freight. Here, by freight means using a commercial cargo service, not regular mail.
Exactly. So freight is all about the large-scale transportation of goods. Our next word is logistics. This is about the detailed organization and implementation of a complex operation, especially when it involves transporting things.
So the logistics of the event were complicated. This means planning and organizing all the parts of the event, like transport, supplies, and scheduling, was difficult.
Yes, it involves careful planning. For our second example, good logistics are essential for efficient delivery. This means having a well-organized system is very important for delivering things quickly and correctly.
I see. And the third example, she works in logistics for a shipping company. This means her job involves planning and managing the movement of goods for the company.
Exactly. Logistics is about making sure everything gets where it needs to be, when it needs to be there. Next, we have congestion. This means a situation where too many things are in one place, causing blockage or overcrowding.
Okay, so traffic congestion is a big problem in big cities. This means there are too many cars on the road, causing slow movement or stops.
That's the most common use. For our second example, nasal congestion can make breathing difficult. This shows it can also refer to being blocked up, like when you have a cold.
So it's not just for roads. And the third example, the bridge is prone to congestion during peak hours. This means the bridge often gets crowded with traffic at busy times of the day.
Precisely. Congestion implies a blockage due to too many things in one space. Now let's look at fuel. This is a material that is burned to produce heat or power, or it can be a verb meaning to supply with fuel or even to support something.
So we need more fuel for the car. This means we need more petrol or gas to make the car run.
Exactly. For our second example, the power plant uses nuclear fuel. This shows that fuel can refer to different types of energy sources, not just for vehicles.
That's interesting. And the third example, his anger fueled her determination. Here, fueled is used metaphorically, meaning his anger made her determination stronger.
That's a very common figurative use. So fuel can be what powers something physically or emotionally. Our next word is parking. This refers to the act of stopping and leaving a vehicle in a specific place or the area where you can do this.
Okay, so finding parking in the city center is difficult. This means it's hard to find a place to leave your car when you're in the middle of the city.
Yes, a common challenge. For our second example, this is a no parking zone. This is a sign indicating that you are not allowed to stop and leave your car there.
I've seen those signs. And the third example, the car park has free parking. A car park is a place specifically for parking cars, and free parking means you don't have to pay.
Exactly. Parking is all about where and how you leave your vehicle. Next up, we have lane. This can mean a division of a road for a single line of vehicles, or it can refer to a narrow road or path.
Okay, so stay in your lane while driving. This means you should keep your car within the marked lines on the road.
That's important for safety. For our second example, the cycling lane is very safe. This is a specific part of the road or a separate path designated for bicycles.
Good for cyclists. And the third example, they live down a quiet country lane. Here, lane means a very narrow, small road, often in the country.
Exactly. So lane can be a marked part of a larger road or a small road itself. Our next word is bridge. This is a structure built to carry a road, path, or railway across an obstacle, like a river or another road.
Okay, so the Golden Gate Bridge is famous. This refers to a well-known large structure that connects two land masses over water.
Yes, a very iconic example. For our second sentence, we cross the bridge over the river. This describes the common action of using a bridge to get to the other side.
Simple and clear. And the third example, this project aims to bridge the gap between theory and practice. Here, bridge is used as a verb, meaning to connect or reduce the differences between two things.
That's a great metaphorical use. So bridge can be a physical structure or the act of connecting ideas. Next, we have tunnel. This is an underground passage, often through a mountain, under a river, or through a city.
So the train went through a long tunnel. This describes a train moving through a dark, enclosed passage, underground, or through a mountain.
Yes, a common experience for train passengers. For our second example, they are building a new underwater tunnel. This refers to a tunnel constructed beneath a body of water.
That's very impressive engineering. And the third example, it felt like working in a dark tunnel. Here, tunnel is used figuratively, meaning a long, difficult, and perhaps hopeless period.
Precisely. Tunnel can be a physical passage or a way to describe a difficult situation. Our next word is navigation. This refers to the process of finding your way from one place to another or controlling the movement of a ship or aircraft.
Okay, so GPS helps with navigation. This means the global positioning system guides you to your destination.
Yes, it helps you find your way. For our second example, the ancient sailors were skilled in navigation. This refers to their ability to steer their ships and find their way across the oceans without modern tools.
Very impressive. And the third example, she found the website's navigation confusing. Here, navigation refers to how easy or difficult it is to find information on a website.
Exactly. Navigation can be about physical movement or finding your way through information. Now we have crosswalk. This is a marked part of a road where pedestrians can safely cross from one side to the other.
So always use the crosswalk to cross the street. This is a safety rule, meaning you should use the designated striped area.
That's right, for pedestrian safety. For our second example, a new crosswalk was installed near the school. This means a new marked crossing area was created to help students cross safely.
That's a good idea. And the third example, look both ways before entering the crosswalk. This is another crucial safety tip. reminding people to check for traffic.
Absolutely. A crosswalk is essential for pedestrian safety on roads. Next, let's discuss signal. This can be a gesture, sound, or action that gives information, or it can refer to an electronic transmission.
Okay, so the traffic signal turned red. This means the light for cars changed to red, telling them to stop.
That's a very common use. For second example, he gave a signal to slow down. This means he made a gesture or sound to tell someone to go slower.
Like a hand signal while cycling. And the third example, my phone has no signal here. This means there's no network connection for the phone to make calls or access data.
Exactly. Signal can be a way of communicating or an electronic connection. Our next word is helmet. This is a hard hat worn for protection, especially for the head.
So always wear a helmet when cycling. This is a crucial safety tip to protect your head if you fall off your bike.
Absolutely. Head protection is vital. For our second example, the construction worker wore a hard helmet. This refers to the protective headgear worn on building sites.
Those are important too. And the third example, his knight's helmet was shiny. This takes us back to history, talking about the protective headwear worn by medieval warriors.
That's a good historical example. So helmet is about protecting your head, whether for modern safety or historical battles. Next, let's talk about license. This is an official document that gives you permission to do something or the permission itself.
Okay, so you need a driver's license to drive a car. This means you must have a special document from the government to operate a vehicle legally.
That's a very important one. For our second example, he obtained a fishing license. This means he got official permission to fish in certain waters.
I see. And the third example, the restaurant operates without a license. This means the restaurant is doing business illegally because it doesn't have the necessary official permission.
Exactly. License is about official permission to do something. Our next word is engine. This is a machine that uses power to create movement, like in a car or plane. It can also be used figuratively.
Okay, so the car engine needs to be repaired. This means the part of the car that makes it move is broken and needs fixing.
That's a common problem. For our second example, a jet engine is very powerful. This refers to the type of engine found in airplanes that produces thrust.
Indeed, they're incredibly strong. And the third example, the engine of growth for the economy is innovation. Here, engine is used to mean the main driving force or cause of something, like innovation driving economic growth.
That's a great example of its metaphorical use. So engine can be a literal machine or a powerful force behind something. Next up is fare. This is the money that a passenger pays to travel on a bus, train, taxi, or other public transport.
So what's the bus fare to the city center? This is asking how much money you need to pay to take the bus to the central part of the city.
Exactly. For our second example, train fares have increased recently. This means the cost of train tickets has gone up.
That's not good news for commuters. And the third example, the taxi driver charged a high fare. This means the taxi driver asked for a lot of money for the ride.
Precisely. Fare is the cost of a journey on public transport. Our next word is express. This means moving at a high speed or a fast train or bus. It can also be a verb, meaning to show or state something.
Okay, so this is an express train to the airport. This means it's a train that travels quickly and probably makes fewer stops.
Yes, it gets you there faster. For our second example, the company offers express delivery. This means they deliver goods very quickly.
Good for urgent packages. And the third example, please express your opinion clearly. Here, express is a verb meaning to clearly state what you think or feel.
Exactly. So express can be about speed in transport or about communicating your thoughts. Next up, we have cargo. This refers to goods carried on a ship. aircraft, or vehicle.
Okay, so the plane was loaded with cargo. This means the aircraft was carrying a lot of goods, not passengers.
Yes, often commercial goods. For our second example, the ship carried a large cargo of oil. This specifies the type and quantity of goods being transported by the ship.
That's a lot of oil. And the third example, cargo planes are designed for heavy loads. This describes aircraft specifically built to transport large and heavy items.
Precisely. Cargo is all about the goods being transported commercially. Our next word is fleet. This refers to a group of vehicles, ships, or aircraft operating under one ownership or command.
So the company has a fleet of delivery trucks. This means the company owns and uses many trucks for delivering goods.
Yes, a collection of working vehicles. For our second example, a large naval fleet sailed into the harbor. This refers to a group of military ships.
Like a navy. And the third example, our car rental service has an updated fleet. This means their collection of cars available for rent is new and modern.
Exactly. Fleet is about a group of similar vehicles used for a common purpose. Next up, we have railway. This refers to the track made of steel rails along which trains run, or the entire system of transport using trains.
Okay, so the old railway line is now a walking path. This means a former train track has been converted into a trail for people to walk on.
That's a nice reuse of old infrastructure. For our second example, she works for the National Railway Company. This means she works for the organization that manages the country's train system.
I see. And the third example, the town grew up around the railway station. This describes how the presence of a train station helped a town develop and expand.
Exactly. Railway can be the physical tracks or the whole train transport system. Our next word is shuttle. This often refers to a vehicle that travels regularly between two places, or the act of moving back and forth.
So there's a free shuttle bus to the hotel. This means there's a bus that repeatedly goes between 2 points, like an airport and a hotel, and it doesn't cost anything.
Yes, very convenient. For our second example, the space shuttle program was important. This refers to the specific spacecraft that traveled back and forth from Earth to space.
A famous example, and the third example, he shuttles between London and New York for work. Here, shuttles is a verb, meaning he travels back and forth frequently between these two cities.
That's right. Shuttle can be a special vehicle or the act of moving repeatedly between 2 points. Next, let's talk about carpool. This is an arrangement where several people share a car for a regular journey, like going to work, to save money and reduce traffic.
So I carpool with my colleagues to save money. This means they share a car and split the costs, like fuel.
Exactly. For our second example, we formed a carpool for the morning commute. This means a group of people decided to regularly share a car for their trip to work.
That sounds like a good idea. And the third example, do you carpool to work? This is a question asking if you participate in such an arrangement.
Precisely. Carpool is a practical way to travel together. Our next phrase is traffic jam. This refers to a long line of vehicles that cannot move or can only move very slowly on a road.
So we got stuck in a huge traffic jam. This means they were caught in a situation where cars were not moving at all or barely moving.
A frustrating situation. For our second example, traffic jams are common during rush hour. This highlights that these blockages happen frequently when many people are commuting to or from work.
Yes, that's definitely true. And the third example, try to avoid the traffic jam by taking a different route. This suggests finding an alternative way to travel to escape the congestion.
Exactly. Traffic jam means standstill traffic, which everyone tries to avoid. Next up, we have ride. This can be a journey in a vehicle or on an animal, or it can be a verb, meaning to sit on and control a vehicle or animal.
Okay, so do you want a ride to the station? This is asking if you want someone to take you to the station in their car.
Yes, offering transportation. For a second example, I enjoy riding my bicycle. Here, riding is a verb meaning the activity of cycling.
I see. And the third example, the roller coaster ride was exciting. Here, ride is a noun referring to the experience of being on an amusement park attraction.
Exactly. Ride can be a journey in many forms or the act of controlling a moving object. Our next word is boarding. This is the action of getting on or into a ship, aircraft, or other vehicle.
So boarding for flight BA 249 is now open. This means passengers can now go onto the airplane for that specific flight.
Yes, it's time to get on. For our second example, please have your boarding pass ready. This is the document you need to show to get onto the plane or train.
That's an important document. And the third example, he felt nervous during the boarding process. This describes someone feeling anxious while getting onto the vehicle.
Exactly. Boarding is the crucial step of getting onto your mode of transport. Next, we have ticketing. This refers to the process of issuing, selling, or buying tickets for transport events.
So the ticketing system is fully automated. This means you can buy tickets using machines or online without needing a person to help you.
Yes, very convenient. For our second example, online ticketing has made travel easier. This highlights how buying tickets over the internet simplifies the travel process.
I agree, it's much faster. And the third example, she works in the ticketing office at the theater. This means her job involves selling and managing tickets for shows.
Precisely. Ticketing covers everything related to buying and selling those all-important travel or event passes. Our next word is airline. This is a company that provides air transport services for passengers and cargo.
So which airline are you flying with? This is asking which company's plane you will be taking for your journey.
Yes, a very common question before a trip. For our second example, the airline offered a refund for the canceled flight. This means the company returned money to passengers because their flight was stopped.
That's good customer service. In the third example, low-cost airlines are popular. This refers to companies that offer cheaper flights, often with fewer services included.
Exactly. Airline is the company that gets you from one airport to another. Next up, we have Roundabout. This is a road junction where traffic moves in one direction around a central island, rather than using traffic lights.
So take the second exit at the roundabout. This is a driving instruction telling you which turn to take to leave the circular junction.
Yes, it helps direct traffic. For our second example, roundabouts can improve traffic flow. This means they can help cars move more smoothly and with fewer stops.
That's a benefit. And the third example, be careful when navigating busy roundabouts. This is a warning to drive carefully because there might be many cars entering and leaving the circle.
Precisely. Roundabout is a specific type of road intersection designed to keep traffic moving. Finally, we have pedestrian. This is a person who is walking, especially on a road or in a developed area, rather than traveling in a vehicle.
So pedestrians should use the crosswalk. This is a safety rule, meaning people who are walking should use the marked crossing areas.
Yes, very important for safety. For a second example, the street is for pedestrians only. This means cars are not allowed on that street. It's just for people walking.
That sounds nice and quiet. And the third example, many cities are trying to make areas more pedestrian friendly. This means they are making places safer and more pleasant for people to walk, perhaps with wider sidewalks or fewer cars.
Exactly. Pedestrian is simply a person who is on foot. And that wraps up our episode on travel and commuting vocabulary. We've covered a wide range of words today, from traffic and transport to pedestrian and roundabout.
We hope this episode helps you feel more confident using these words in your daily conversations and, of course, in your IELTS exams. Remember, practice makes perfect.
Keep an ear out for these words in your everyday life and try to use them yourself. Join us next time for more essential vocabulary. Happy learning!